Over the years, we've heard numerous disturbing pieces of evidence about forced organ harvesting in China, where a victim has their organs carved out against their will and sold for profit. On Wednesday, Parliament passed legislation designed to stop British citizens and residents being part of this crime, an amendment welcomed by both sides of the House.
The restrictions are based on ensuring there is appropriate consent, no coercion and no financial gain. In some parts of the world, organs are not given freely but are taken by force, and we must bear this in mind in the drafting of our legislation.
This comes after the House of Lords passed Lord Hunt's amendment to the new Health and Care Bill in mid-March.
Forced organ harvesting in China is a crime of forcibly extracting organs from prisoners of conscience, killing the victim in the process. The harvested organs are sold to Chinese officials, Chinese nationals or foreigners for transplantation. My Lords, this is a very modest amendment doing our bit to try and prevent this obnoxious habit.
The government put forward its own version of Lord Hunt's amendment, focusing on the commercialisation of the organ transplant industry outside the UK. The government's version extends existing legislation, where making a profit from selling organs within Britain is already illegal.
And I would reassure honourable members that our approach would not only target transplant tourists, but anyone involved in making the arrangements for the purchase of the organ who may be a British national. The government amendment paired with our commitment to work with NHS Blood and Transplant to make more patients aware of the legal, health and ethical ramifications of purchasing an organ will send an unambiguous signal that complicity in the abuses associated with the overseas organ trade will not be tolerated.
This amendment is significant as it would make it illegal for British citizens to take part in this disturbing trade of forced organ harvesting overseas. It will be covering people who are looking for an organ transplant as well as organ brokers. Now we know that 7 parliaments have already passed their own versions of this type of legislation to combat transplant abuse, including Israel, Spain, Taiwan, Italy, Norway, Belgium and South Korea. Several MPs, Lords and supporters of this legislation have been working hard to get this passed through Parliament, and this government version of the amendment is likely to become law at the end of April. Jane Worrell, NGD News, London.